Charger fans, we have a very special guest today. We are excited to be presenting Chargers cornerback Donte Jackson from your Los Angeles Chargers. He wears number 26, probably has the best hair on the team, and I would say he's probably one of the fastest guys on the one of the players on the team. He had a 4.31 40-yard dash at the combine a couple years ago. Donte, thank you so much for having us. Do you feel like, or for jumping on with us, do you feel like you could still do that 4.31?
Yeah, for sure. But I wish it was a couple years ago. It was eight years ago.
I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to help you out.
I appreciate that.
Hey, who's keeping track of time when you're having such a good time, Donte? You guys are undefeated. You're winning games. You're winning in Brazil, beating the Chiefs. You're beating the Raiders in Vegas. You're beating the Broncos at home. But I got one question before you talk about everything going on with the Chargers, because I can't wrap my mind around the Donte. How the heck do you guys get 15 passes defense in Las Vegas? Have you been part of a defensive effort like that before?
No, I never played in the game. That was crazy. It's only happened like a couple times in history. That was crazy, man. Everybody was just flying around, reading their keys and just exploding and making plays on the ball, man. That was just a complete defensive effort, and it felt great.
And Donte, I know you've been getting this question a lot, but now that you're 3 games into it, just playing under Justin Minter, playing with Derwin James, playing on this loaded defense, and somehow this defense got better than last year, and I don't know why. Maybe because a new person arrived, Donte Jackson maybe arrived, and you're contributing. What's clicking for this unit, and how much fun you're having playing under Minter?
Man, it's been awesome. It's been awesome, man. Coach Minter is just a more than a great guy. He's obviously a great coach. And it's just all about putting guys in position to be successful. He wants you to utilize your strengths, and whatever that is, he want to make sure you are in that position to make plays. And you speak on Derwin, that's a guy who can go out there and play any position on defense. And he's just one of those guys that his energy is infectious. You see 3 flying around. You don't just see it on Sundays. You see it at OTAs. You see it at walkthrough. You see it at practice, training camp. So just having that type of leader and that type of guy to go out there and be with, it just makes your job easy, especially as a corner. You have that guy playing nickel. You have him playing safety. You have him playing linebacker. He's always making sure people is in the right positions. He's like having Coach Minter on the field with you. You know what I'm saying? But just the 6'3", 220-pound version. So it's awesome, though, for sure.
A little bit taller and a little bit bigger than Coach Minter, obviously. You spoke about him during your introductory press conference. You said, "I can't wait to play with Derwin. I can't wait." You guys got close during the draft process in 2018, obviously,
sure.
and just has everything. Your idea of what you thought of him beforehand, now that you've seen it firsthand, now that you're there, you're a teammate. You have him in the film room, on the field, everything. Is there something that has stood out even more than that, or is he exactly who you thought he was?
Of course, he's obviously the player. Like, I was always a fan of him. We actually got to college the same year, and he was at Florida State. And he's been special from a freshman all the way to the time we left. And as juniors, we both left early. But the thing that surprised me the most, not really surprising because you obviously hear stories, and it has nothing to do with football, just the type of guy he is off the field. He's one of those teammates that just only want to see you with your head up, no matter what you're going through. He's one of those guys that you can talk to who's going to always be there for his teammates, man. He's just one of the most team first guys. He's an all-pro in the locker room as well. Like, he's an all-pro as a human. And I think that was the biggest thing that I took notice of, just being his teammate. Because you obviously watch film. You obviously see highlights, of the player, but just being his teammate, you see that the type of guy he is, the type of father he is, the type of friend he is. And I think that was the biggest thing that stood out to me. You get around guys and it's just all football all the time. But he's one of those guys you probably would think it's all football all the time. But now as a guy, he's a good dude, man.
Yeah, and Derwin, shout out to him. One play, AFC Defensive Player of the Week for the big week. He also had a big assist 2 weeks ago, Donte, in the end zone, where he smacked the ball up. He assisted you with that interception. I remember we spoke. You thought that the one in Brazil, that was supposed to be your first interception. We talked about it, but this one, to get your first interception in the second game, with the LA Chargers. What was that moment like? And was it one of those where you kind of like you saw the ball, you see ball, get ball, or what was that like?
It was awesome. Just doing my job. You know what I'm saying? We preach BTB, and that means burst to the ball. You know, so when I see the ball in the air, I'm going to go to it. You know, and Derwin was in a great position. I mean, he ended up getting a hand on the ball, and it felt like it was in the air for eternity. But that one was special because it actually was my 20th career interception. You know, so always gonna remember that one, man. It was made happen by a great player, an All-Pro, a Hall of Fame caliber player. So definitely gonna always remember that one. And it was my first one as a Charger, man. So that one's gonna stick out a lot to me throughout my career. And just being able to go out there, get number 20, which is a huge milestone for me, for any player. You know, just to get your hand on the ball that many times in your career is awesome, no matter how long you play. So yeah, I'm always gonna remember that one, man. It was just a big milestone for me, for my family, but most importantly for the team. You know, just to go out there and keep those guys from scoring. You know, they were in the red zone, so it was pretty much for sure points with a field goal. Just to go out there and get the interception, get off the field, set our offense up in great field position. It felt great, man. The vibes were going, rivalry game. Monday night football, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely felt great, man. Definitely is a special one.
Yeah, what a special milestone, Donte. 20 receptions. That's a lot of receptions to get in the NFL. Yeah. And, maybe that's a good segue because I wanted to ask you about, starting in Carolina and, being traded from Carolina to Pittsburgh. Take me back to that moment. Were you pretty shocked? And then that year in Pittsburgh, was it, pretty challenging, or was it one that you thought you learned a lot from Mike Tomlin that you maybe, you carried that momentum into LA?
I mean, yeah, I played 6 seasons in Carolina, and if you ask me in my 4th year probably there, I will tell you I played my whole career here. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. Special love for those fans, special love just for that organization, man. That's just something that's gonna always be with me. A huge part of my career. A big chunk of my career was there. I haven't played anywhere as long as Carolina. Not high school, not college. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a special place for me. And my family. But yeah, getting traded, I kind of knew it was going to happen. I was going on I was there for 3 head coaches. I've seen 3 head coaches get fired during the season. So another rebuild, and just, something that just happened on the business side of it. You know what I'm saying? Is a lot of us we're going to be, traded or something like that. So we kind of, a lot of my teammates, we kind of knew it was going to happen. But just getting traded to a place like Steelers, I really thought in that instance, that Carolina actually looked out for me, just to go to a historic, franchise like Pittsburgh, such passionate fans, and obviously such a great coach and Coach Tomlin. I will always take a lot of stuff that I learned there. I wish it could end better. I dealt with a lot of injuries, still was able to play well, but I was pretty much played injured the whole season. So I obviously taking that and bringing it to this year, knowing how to take care of my body better. I was able to play really well. And I wasn't healthy, so it's kind of taking that confidence from playing well and taking the negativity of being hurt. Now I have different ways that I take care of my body here, and makes me be a better player here. You know what I'm saying? So I take a lot of stuff from that, man. Just how to watch film, how to study opponents. Coach Tomlin was a wizard in that instance. You know what I'm saying? And it just gave me a lot of confidence in my ability, man. It gave me a lot of confidence, and you get traded. You leave the place that you know the most. So you get down on yourself, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they tell you you're going to probably be traded and you don't know where. So you're kind of down on yourself a lot. And then just going to the Steelers and playing well, being around such great players like TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cameron Hayward, Russell Wilson, just being around guys like that and playing well. It definitely gave me a sense of confidence. It gave me kind of like my swagger back, you know what I'm saying? Because I was still, wasn't myself physically, but I was still able to go out there and make plays and be a contributor, you know what I'm saying? So I brought a lot of that to here, like I say, know how to take care of my body, knowing how to just different ways to study opponents, different ways to prepare for here. And it just made me a better player coming into this year, coming into my 8th season, made me a better player. And I'm grateful that I went through all that, because now I can just put my best foot forward here and then now just give everything I got for real.
Yeah, Dante, before I let Fernando ask you about, playing for Jim Harbaugh, just to follow up, just going through free agency, like you mentioned, kind of an up and down year in Pittsburgh because you weren't healthy. Were you, wondering where you're going to end up in free agency? Were you itching to prove to people that when healthy, you're still one of the best corners in the game? Take a chance on me because if you plug me into a scheme, I'm going to deliver for you every single Sunday, every game day. Is that something that you were kind of itching to get out on the field to prove
For
that you're
sure.
better than what happened last year?
For sure, man. Because like I said, I knew what type of player I was. I was still able to be an impactful player in Pittsburgh, even though I was injured from week 2 all the way, to the end of the season, to the playoff game. I was just really just getting myself ready to go on Sundays. Missing a lot of practice. What I'm saying, always in the training room. What I'm saying, just get myself ready to go out there on Sundays. No matter what I got to do, whether I got to take pain pills, whether I got to do anything. So, and still playing well, still making plays. So I already knew going into free agency, I knew what type of player I was. I knew I was slept on. I knew that a lot of people probably wouldn't, see, yeah, I had 5 interceptions, but a lot of people would probably see the fact that I do this or do that, but yeah, I already knew, I had so much confidence going into free agency because all I wanted was somebody to just take a chance on me. Like you said, just bring me in and I can show you, what I'm saying? Bring me in and I can do things that the film doesn't show, what I'm saying? I can do things that anybody who really know me, who really done been around me, know that I can do it. So I was excited, man. I just knew, like I was telling my wife, like, at this point, wherever I end up at, I'm going to be a whole different player, a whole better version of what I've showed in the past. So
Donte, speaking of obviously coming here to the Chargers, we when Jim says something interesting or unique, you call them Harbaughisms. Can you give us one of your favorite Harbaughisms? And if you have a Tomlinism, we'd love to get that too. But what do you have any of those?
I like what he says. Just his biggest thing he says that kind of sticks with me is for every game he just like go out there and keep your wits about you, and most importantly, don't worry. What I'm saying? I think that just speaks volumes to me because, when you're out there in the play, especially in the era we're playing in, where it's so social media driven, where it's so much other things you worry about. You have a bad play, people in your DMs, people in your mentions. So just hearing that from your coach, like, don't worry. What I'm saying? Don't go out there and put 100 things on your mind. Just keep your wits about you and go out there, have fun. That's basically what I take from it. And I think that's like, some real vintage Harbaughism, if you must.
What do you make of the post game? You're in the locker room. He gives you guys a speech. Give everybody a high five. Give everybody a high five. And then he says obviously I'm sure you saw it from afar or on social media or whatever. The who's got it better than us. Yeah. Just that stuff. Some people may see it as nerdy or dorky, but like as players, how do you guys see that?
And it's awesome. It's awesome because you like to say that we're playing a child's game. What I'm saying? And you kind of have that childlike enthusiasm, after a win, and it means a lot, coming from, like I said, the head guy, and then such a historic guy like Coach Jim Harbaugh. What I'm saying? It's just like give each other a high five. Like, who has it better than us? Nobody. That type of stuff, man. It just brings such a joy. It makes you just want to get out there the next week, like tomorrow, and go after another win. Go out there and get after it with your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like after a hard fought game, what I'm saying, you can actually look around and feel the guys' enthusiasm and everybody who you was out there with grinding. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of smiling, high fiving each other. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? It's just an awesome feeling, man. You get around the guys and everybody is just, just kind of like, like childlike energy, after you win, like you win as a child and somebody's dad take you to go get pizza, something like that. It's just like that childhood feeling of just, you just got to win, man. And this is the toughest level that there is, in the world and on this sport, what I'm saying? So just keeping that smile and keeping that, that not just making everything just so tough and, rah-rah speeches. It's actually like, no, give each other a high five. You know what I'm saying? Who has it better than us? You know what I'm saying? So And then he says another thing like, who you know, the only people who have it better than us, future us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just awesome, man, just to have that type of energy after you just went out there and gave you all for your brothers, and now you can smile and laugh and you know, give each other high fives, give each other hugs and stuff like that, and that just being the energy for real.
Hey, that's some contagious energy too, Donte, because I almost joined you too. Nobody, I almost did it myself.
No,
you
for sure though, man. It's definitely contagious, man. It's contagious. Like I said, it makes you want to get out there right now. Like, who we got next week? Tell them pull up right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, where's future me at? Because that guy is better than me right now, and nobody has it better. But Donte, to take you back again, like you mentioned, we talked about Carolina, but now I got to ask you about LSU. You're from New Orleans. Do you have any good stories from those days? You were a coach. I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but Les Miles and Coach O, I think you had two coaches there, but some good stories from playing for those two guys.
Of course, man. I mean, I'm a Louisiana native, New Orleans. I could just remember being in like elementary school and you have an LSU day, at school on Friday, pay $1 to wear LSU shirt or something like that. So the school that I was going to was decided at like 9. You know what I'm saying? I always knew that at some point I'll be playing for LSU. It was just something that was just embranded in me, man. You grow up and all you know is, because everybody's not going to be Saints fans. Everybody's not going to be, New Orleans Hornets, because they were the Hornets when I was a kid. Everybody's not going to be Hornets fans, but every single person you run into are going to be LSU football fans, LSU baseball fans, LSU basketball, LSU track and field. So like just being a sports person growing up, you kind of have your mind made up, and I had my mind made up. And then obviously, me being a DB, and then you see such a great lineage of DBs coming through there year in and year out for years on end. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be a part of that. So just getting a chance to just put on those uniforms and be a part of that DB lineage, and it was just something that I think that I was made for, that I was born to do. And yeah, man, I just remember those, waking up in those mornings of those SEC games, and you just smelling it in the air, from a kid to the time I was there. It just always smelled the same. Like you playing
Cajun food.
Yeah, you're playing Auburn today, man. You're playing Ole Miss today. You're playing Alabama, so just, being able to be a part of that, man, it was always special to me, special to my family. Yeah, and I'm super grateful for all the time that I spent at LSU, man. I think that it made me to the competitor that I am today. I ran track in college too, played football, ran track. So just like it made me to the, like I said, made me to the competitor I am today, maybe to the football player, to the man, to the dad, to the husband I am today. And it's just something that always was with me. And since I went through, and now I'm on this side in my 8th year in the league, LSU has a lot to do with that for sure.
I'm assuming you ran the 100, 200?
160, 4x1.
Okay. Well, what was your personal time and the best in those events?
My personal best in 100 was 10.2. And my 60 PB was like 663, something like that.
Wow.
I was on SEC champion 4x1 in 2016. Yeah, so a lot of great memories, man, at LSU.
Yeah. So speaking of that, though, I do have a question about track and field. Every NFL player keeps on being asked, hey, in 2028, the Olympics are coming to LA. Are you going to participate in the flag football event and everything? Well, I want to ask you, Donte, are you going to participate in the track and field portion of the Olympics?
No way. I actually ran track, and track was a huge part of my life. I've been running track since before I was playing football. I've been running track. And one thing I have is respect for those guys who do that on a pro level, and I would never think that just because I, ran track in the past, and I ran track in college, and I haven't ran track in 7 years, that I can go out there and compete with those guys. Because it's a no-brainer. It's no. I have too much respect for what those guys do. Just as much work as we put in being pro football players, they put in the same, if not more, work to be elite and what they do, whether that's the 400, whether that's the 200, whether that's the 100. You got people who only do a certain event, so just think that I play football 7 months out the year, and I can just go and just put on some spikes and be like, hey, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill says he's going to beat Noah Lyles.
I feel like I can go out there and run. You know what I'm saying? I can go out there and run. I still got everything, track is still a huge part of what I do. My daughters, we all watch track. I still don't miss a meet. I don't miss where like Worlds was just on. I don't miss none of that. I still watch it. I'm still a avid spectator. But I just respect those guys way too much to even think that I can go out there and compete.
Gilbert has a good point, though. Go ahead, Gilbert.
You think Tyreek Hill has any chance against Noah Lyles and maybe the 60 or the 100?
No. Tyreek Hill is super, super fast. He's super explosive. He's probably the best. He's probably the football player that has the best chance. But no, not against those guys. Like I said, it's just too much respect that I have for what those guys do and what it takes to be elite in their field. And it's like no way a guy who plays football for 7 months out the year can go and train for a month or two, maybe if you get 2 months, can go out there and compete with those guys. Man, it's a different world. That's like saying a track runner who played football in high school can scrap up for 2 months and go out and be elite, and beat
Usain Bolt tried it. He tried to play soccer and it didn't work out.
Because it's like
it didn't work. It didn't work out though.
Yeah, the time that you spend, perfecting your craft at your job, these guys spend the same amount of time. So it's just like, man, you just have to respect what other guys do because as an athlete what it takes to be at the top of your game. So just thinking that it's kind of a little disrespectful to even think that, and I'm a cornerback. I'm a corner, and we have some of the most confident people in the world. We have to be, right? We have to be. We on an island by ourselves. You ask a cornerback if they can go do Daytona 500, they probably say, yeah, of course, hell yeah. But nah, man, I'm actually a realist, and like I say, I've been in that world. I've come from football all fall to track in the spring in college. And it taken me a month to really get into the groove because the training is different, the meets and all that is different, the traveling is different. So I don't think that anybody can. Like I said, but Tyreek Hill has probably the best chance of all football players. If you want to pick a guy, you got to go with Tyreek Hill. But I don't think he.
Donte, one final one for me, and then Gilbert will ask you the final question. Last one. You actually, I don't know if this has been talked about between you and him, but you were the second person in the NFL to pick off Justin Herbert a couple of years ago when he was a rookie in his second game, obviously. But just being around him now, you're 3 games in. He's being mentioned as, hey, he could be a MVP. He's playing at an MVP level. His fourth quarter stats are off the charts right now. Again, the same thing I asked you about Derwin, your preconceived notion coming in about Justin and what you've seen now that you've practiced with him, you've had training camp with him. Is it kind of one of those things where you see him and you're like, oh, wow, like it's impressive the way he takes the game so seriously?
Yeah, man. 10 is just, he's otherworldly, man. The thing that stands out, for me, obviously, is just his competitiveness, man. Just like going against him in camp, seeing him in OTAs. OTAs is the only voluntary time of the year, but he was the first guy in, last guy out for that time when it's voluntary. Like, a lot of teams' best players aren't even showing up, but just seeing the head of the snake here with him and Derwin and K-Mac, just seeing those guys here every single day for the workout period, when you're not even with your coaches, when you're not even throwing or nothing, you're just working out with the team, and just seeing him in the building every single day, talking with the guys, chatting with the guys, and then you go out there and see the way he locks in. You see him doing sprints after a fully padded day in training camp, and you see the way that he's constructing meetings and just like the attentiveness he gives to just being great is no shocker. You know what I'm saying? Just being around a guy like that, like I say, for Derwin, it's just contagious, man. You see the best guys going the hardest every single day. It's easy for you to be like, yeah, just do what that guy does, man. Like I say, he go throw passes at practice, fully padded during camp, and then everybody's walking in, he's out there running sprints, doing extra, you know what I'm saying? Like full on sprints, full speed, you know what I'm saying? And this is training camp, man. So it's like, that's the hardest part of our schedule. It's the hardest part of our year. And now you see it just showing up throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, man. For us in the building, it's like we was already seeing this, man. We was already seeing that competitive nature. We was already seeing that no quit. We was always seeing that bringing guys with you thing that he does on Sundays, man. It's just been awesome. Like I say, just to be around those type of players, man. These are stories you're gonna be telling your grandkids. Like these are, I play with, you know, you have like I've met older players. Like, man, I play with Dan Marino. Like I play with, you know, he's 10 is one of those guys. You know, he's one of those guys that when you bring up your playing days, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I played with Justin Herbert. Let me tell you about that guy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's just an honor just to be able to be, you know, in the same locker room as that guy and not compete against him, you know.
Last thing, Donte, I'm just curious. You know, did you enjoy your trip to Brazil, playing there? You know, against the Chiefs, and what stood out to you the most about being in Brazil?
Oh, it was awesome. It was a great experience. I've never played. I've never been to South America, let alone played a game out there. Just seeing all the fans embrace the, you know, the Chargers, man. It was a great experience. The stadium from the time we landed out there, got off the plane, you know, you could just feel the energy. And I think that was just a great camaraderie session for us. You know, we spent a lot of time with each other, spent a lot of time talking, spent a lot of time with ping pong and just, you know, hanging out. So just go and do what we did on that Friday night. It wasn't no secret that you know, it was all built up in everybody because, you know, it started from the time we landed. And I think that experience drew us closer, you know, from a 14-hour flight. You know, you can't sleep the whole time. You're going to get up and turn around, talk to people. And then after the win, we was able to be on a long flight, celebrating, everybody standing up, everybody talking to each other, just, you know, walking around. It was just a great experience. You know, that's another thing you're going to talk about as an older guy, you know, down the line, whether you coaching, whether you teaching, whether you're doing whatever, you're going to think about those type of times and really tell yourself like, damn, we was living in the best times of our life at that point. So just having that Brazil trip with this team at this moment, this year, I think it set us on track to be really like sky's the limit for this group, you know. And that was one of those times that it was just like, yeah, bro, we can do something. And just 1 week at a time, that was just a great way to pop it off for real.
I mean, the team that won the Brazil game last year ended up in the Super Bowl and winning it. So you never know. You never know what could happen.
1 week at a time, man. New York Giants.
Slow down, Fernando. Come on.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, the Chargers will be heading this weekend to face the New York Giants. It will not be Russell Wilson. It will be Jackson Dart, who they face off, the rookie second round or the first round pick. Appreciate you jumping on with us, Donte. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me on, man. It was a
Have a good
blast,
one.
man. I appreciate it.